It's pretty good. That's a definitive dad joke right there.
That's
a very good.
That's the daddiest joke of all dad jokes.
That's right. You are. Good thing you're a dad.
It is. It is a good thing, and my kid often enjoys my dad jokes.
There are some dad jokes that I've given you that you probably should not pass to the kid yet.
Oh, 100%. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Elder Elves, where a couple people who are closer to dying than you are play video games.
Oh my god. Wow.
It puts a different
man.
spin on it, doesn't it?
It is. Do you think that we'll update from the elder elves to the decrepit elves as we like move into our years?
The elder elves, the dead elves, the
the dead elf society is what is where we're going next. Poets, artists,
tables in this stream. I don't understand. Thanks for coming back, everybody. We're in this is part three of Dungeons and Dragons, where we're kind of walking through playing, creating Dungeons and Dragons. Really, we're just kind of going through it step by step. So if you're starting out playing the infamous TTRPG Dungeons and Dragons, this might be a good place to start. You get a little step-by-step guide, or if you know somebody who is, you can toss it over to them. Maybe they'll get some use out of it, and even if you're not, you might still enjoy it. You never ever know.
That's right.
And today we're gonna do, I think we decided to do 5e first, right? Which is me.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a character in 5e, and we're going to kind of walk through it. We're probably not going to dig into the nitty-gritty details of every single solitary thing, because our show is only so long. But we're going to touch on like the fun things and the basics and the things we like, the things we don't like. More or less.
Which, yeah. I mean, the player's handbook is super generic. Like,
yeah.
As you get into like the supplemental stuff, there'll be different classes and races that you can start dipping into. There's subclasses that you are not having access to in the player's handbook. So of course you gotta, spend that money to get those extra subclasses and magical items and stuff like that. I use D&D Beyond to do a lot of my character builds. There are a lot of people that still love the pencil paper kind of layout, and that's cool. I found that once I got D&D Beyond, and this is no we're getting paid for this or anything like that. But
we're not plugging the company whatsoever.
No. But once I got that, I found for me that it was easier to streamline a lot, because part of my issues with playing was the crunchiness of it, the keeping track of my hit points and my spell slots and all of those kinds of things. So I found that D&D Beyond actually helped me a lot. That's not to say it's the same for everybody, but a lot of my players, when we play Dungeons and Dragons together, they utilize that tool, and it is a tool.
It's very easy if you're very new to it. Like if you're just starting out, because it's a step-by-step kind of process. So it really helps you understand the layer of it and where you need to go next. So if nothing else, do it once if you've never created a character before, and you'll kind of know basically where you stand with everything.
Yeah. We're gonna do a pen paper kind of build tonight, just to show you how it runs. So let's get into it a little bit. When you open up this book, it feels very daunting because it is pretty thick.
Yes.
But really, it walks you through literally how to begin. It gives you from choosing your race, your class, to actually rolling for all your character traits and all of that.
Yeah.
So really, your step one is, do you want to choose class or race? Colin, what would you like to do tonight? Do you want to choose your class or choose your race?
I will tell you so there's two ways I create a character. One is more story based. So if I get an idea in my head about a character I create, I'll build it down. So I'm almost going like, in a lot of ways, jumping to the end where you sort of decide who your character is and the story behind it, everything like that. And then I work backwards. The other way I do it when I kind of don't have a launching off part is I'll roll my stats and then I'll build it up from where my stats are. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to roll and get my stats. And there's kind of different ways to do this. I only do it the one way where you roll 4d6, drop the lowest, and that's one of your stat numbers. And so you'll do that 6 times and you'll get strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. But you can put them in any order. You don't have to go one at a time. All right. And this is the part where I do math, which is never good. So that's 13.
You got a 13. Okay.
Oh, that was a good one. I got 13 again.
Nice.
I haven't rolled up stats in a really long time. Oh, geez. Oh, wait. Nope. That's good. That's 12.
Oh, all right.
$12 again. $12 again.
Wow. All right. I think those dice are weighted. Yeah.
I know.
That's great.
All right. 3, 4, 5. All right. Last one. Okay. 13.
Okay.
That's insane. And I swear to God.
That's okay. Sure. All right.
I should have rolled them on camera.
I mean, we heard you dropping them, but...
You didn't hear me dropping them. 13,
all right,
13,
so where
13,
would you...
12, 12, 12.
Jesus. Where would you put those?
I think for something like this... Okay, so this is where my brain goes if I'm rolling the dice first, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any weak points for this character, right? I don't have what you would call a dump stat. So there's no weakness that I can start at and be like, oh, that's his failure. So I'm gonna kind of have to almost treat this person like a superhero, essentially.
They're definitely above average.
Yeah. So I think what I would want to do... I think what I would do is I would then choose the species, or the class that I want. Because the class is way more dependent on the stats than anything else. And I think for this, I'm gonna do a barbarian.
Okay.
Because barbarian's already pretty loaded, and this is just gonna make them super loaded. So I'm gonna pop into my D&D Beyond, and I'm gonna pick barbarian.
Now in the book, it tells you to what stat. I know, but these people might. It tells you when you're looking at strength and dexterity, it gives you what it measures. It gives you a layout of what it measures and what classes that would be important for. And if you pick a specific race, what bonuses you get to that particular stat. So he's choosing barbarian, and if you look or you go into it, you see that barbarian strength is what is going to be super important for a barbarian. And that gives you some ideas of what kind of race you could do that utilizes that stat and gives you a bonus to it. And you can choose one of those races, or you don't have to. You could decide to go a completely different route, but they do give you a layout that you could choose.
And if you do want to do it on D&D Beyond, let's see if I can actually get this. It might be backwards. We've tried to do this before.
Can't really
see it, right?
No.
Okay, well, no, you can't see it. So when you go through it, if you do use this, it does give you little pop-ups about like what you need to add. So like I'm going to add proficiencies for this guy. I'm going to give him a proficiency in survival because I can pick 2. And intimidation, because I feel like big, strong guy, intimidation, that's just going to give him an extra kick there.
Proficiencies are just bonuses for a character. So if you have to choose a proficiency, it just means that if you had to roll the dice for that particular ability, like say you walk into a room and you want to investigate something. If you have a proficiency in investigation, you get a bonus to add to your dice roll. That's all that means.
Which comes in handy, especially if you don't roll 6 double digits like I did.
Yeah.
The proficiencies can really like help to balance out your character and maybe help those weaker spots. So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And then I don't think we have to go through everything, but for each class, you're going to have particular things that class can do, and especially at different levels. So like I get rage. So in battle, you fight with primal ferocity. On your turn, you can enter a rage as a bonus action, which is good to know. And all this stuff would make sense more once you start playing it. You're not going to understand any of it your first time out, and that's okay. And don't let anybody make you feel otherwise.
Just know a lot of it is going to be bonuses to your dice rolls, or attack bonuses where you get extra for hitting or extra damage to be dealt.
You know what? Nobody ever told me, not that a lot of people talk to me about this, but if you play those turn-based RPGs like Final Fantasy and stuff like that, you are more or less playing like a version of Dungeons and Dragons. So if you enjoy those games, which is funny because I love Dungeons and Dragons, but I hate those games. So, but what's fun for me about Dungeons and Dragons is not the combat and like the turn-based stuff. It's all the other thing. It's the improv and the storytelling and everything like that. That's where I really pick it up.
Yeah, I like the turn-based.
It's fun.
Sometimes.
People do.
Sometimes. Not. It depends on the game. But D&D is now a lot more streamlined than what it was. So, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, which are the books that I have, that I started out on, felt very daunting, and I didn't know really where to begin at.
Yeah.
And they're like, just read the book, and I'd read it, and I'm like, this is like, boom, I need to sit down and play it, you know?
Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a race of the character. This is one of those things that you were talking about where like if you are using D&D Beyond, you're limited unless you buy. You can buy the books that the characters come in, or you can just buy the specific things.
Mm.
So I'll do one everybody would have. Let's see. No, that's silly.
You got mountain on this end. I see mountain dwarf, dragonborn, half orc, human. So 3 of those you get +2, and 1 you get +1 because humans
Wah, wah.
are the.
I'm gonna do half orc.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm
Okay.
imagining you'll take one of those 13s and put it into strength.
Absolutely, I'm gonna do that. So yeah,
And
so what we're
then you'll
talking
get,
about is putting it in your ability scores.
yep. So half orcs get a +2 to that stat. So right now he's looking at 15.
Okay. So I'm gonna do. Well, this is insane. All right, I'm gonna do 13 for dexterity too.
Okay.
I'm gonna do. Oh, I'm just gonna go across the line. I'm gonna do 13 for strength, dexterity, and constitution, and then 12 for intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Now, for those stats, guys, charisma is your confidence. A lot of people think it's like how hot your character is or whatever, but it's their confidence, their leadership abilities, eloquence, anything that you have to have some charismatic persona for. And we all know, right, that like if someone's super charismatic, you find attraction in them. But they don't have to necessarily be the hottest supermodel that you've ever seen. It could just be like this average kind of person that just brings it, Your wisdom is your awareness and intuition. Your intelligence is your information, analytical recall, skill, that kind of stuff. Constitution is your health.
Yep, that makes sense.
That's the stamina, vital force. It's what will give you, your basis of your hit points.
Yeah, right. That's what your hit points are taken from. And your hit points are basically going to be like your hearts, right? More hit points you have, the more damage you can take. What else did we
cover? Dexterity is your physical agility stuff, reflexes. Your armor class usually comes out of your dex.
A lot of weapon proficiencies, just like we were talking about earlier, are tied. For barbarians, they're usually tied to strength, depending on the weapon you choose, but a lot of other weapons are tied to dexterity. Like, I think bow is, short sword, I believe.
And there's finesse versus like martial and when they break it out. And you'll just look and see, oh, what is my character capable of using? And it depends on your class. And okay, what kind of armor can I wear? Well, that depends on your class and your race too, and that kind of stuff.
Okay, so those are basic agility or ability scores. Okay, so one feature in D&D Beyond, which is in the books somewhere, but is background descriptions. Probably don't have time to dig into this right now because there's a ton, but these are basically just like story prompts that you can apply to your character. Some of them come with bonuses and proficiencies and things like that, like folk hero and what's another? Just entertainer, gladiator. Like, I'll make this guy just a gladiator just because it's right there for me. Things like that. But that's all fun. And if you don't wanna do any of that, you don't have to. If you got a full story in your head about a character you wanna do, just roll with it. You don't have to do any of this, but if you're having trouble or you don't know what to do, these background suggestions are awesome. They're really helpful.
Mhm. And, that's what your DM is for too, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, this is what kind of the story I wanna do, what do you think?" And, um, we want you to have a fun experience along with us, it's collaborative, it's a collaborative experience. Uh, so you know, for me, when I DM, I'm open to basically everything, and I say, how can we
Yeah.
fit it into the parameters of what we have, and also it's hard, right? You want to have this whole big backstory to your character when you first start. Look at it how this character is amazing wise, and look at everything that they've done. But sometimes you have to look at it as you know depending on what your background is, you know, are they this young kind of person, or have they been around? Have they seen stuff? And then if they are in that super experienced level, you have to give yourself some room for more adventure, you know?
Right. Also, you want to, if you are, like, really digging into the story, think about the fact that, like, okay, what level are you starting at? Because some people start games at different levels. If you're level 1, do you wanna have a lot of experience and you're coming into this, but you're, quote, unquote, "weaker" as a character or have less spell slots or, less cool things that you can do, and, do you wanna take that person as, like, kind of a newbie and grow him? Or do you wanna have, like, one time I made a character, and I kinda went out on a limb, and even though they were, like, an earlier level, I made them an older soldier so that, like, yeah, their dexterity was low and their constitution was low because they were actually, like, an elderly person. So and they were in wars, so, all their knees were janky and everything like that.
I
So you
like
can
that.
do fun stuff too, like, you don't have to just not every character has to be first year Hogwarts student, if you
Mm-mm.
wanna play level 1. Um, Next up is equipment, and for a lot of things, you come with different starting equipment, like, this is giving me a great axe or any martial melee weapon, I'll pick a great axe, why not? My guy can get 2 hand axes or a simple weapon, I'll pick a simple weapon because then I have more choices. And oh, let's go short bow. That might be fun because I have a really high dexterity, so I can actually fire a short bow. Um, and then like, okay, so because I picked a background, my gladiator has, equipment that comes with it too, and, you can pick that. Oh, this is funny. It suggests a love letter or lock of hair or trinket.
Oh my god, lock of hair
Lock of that's exactly what I was gonna say.
that they
Isn't that
ripped off at
crazy?
someone as they're
Yeah.
running by.
Well, it's just funny to me that, like, my options were a love letter or a lock of hair. It doesn't necessarily explain where the hair came from, but I kinda love
They're
that as, like,
like,
a story prompt.
that is fantastic. Like, the story that can come out of just that particular
Yep,
item.
yep. Um, my big gripe with D&D Beyond in particular is that you have to pick musical weapons or musical instruments.
Oh my god, and there's so many.
There's so many, and, like, not every I don't necessarily want my barbarian to have bagpipes, but that's what he's gonna have because I kinda have to
Have
pick a musical instrument.
Well, it's like, where do they keep them? Have you seen how big a dulcimer is? Like,
No.
hold on, everyone. Like, there's like all these musical instruments that you can choose that your character is like sporting, and it's like you're sitting around a fire, and suddenly this halfling, right,
Ding, ding,
was
ding,
like,
ding.
hold on, we need some music. Digs into their sack, their book bag that's not very big, and suddenly out pops this dulcimer. Or they're carrying the dulcimer the whole time, and it's like the size of their body. And they're like, hold on, let me get this thing going. Do, 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 do.
And look,
Like,
we know about bag of holdings, okay? Anybody
we
who's
do.
experienced is saying, "Oh, well, it's just in a bag of holding, blah, blah, blah." Like, yeah, whatever. If you're level 1 halfling
You don't have
rogue,
one.
you don't have a bag of holding. Get over it.
No.
It's on your
No,
back.
you don't. And
That
even
dulcimer
then,
is gonna break first fight. First fight, that's gonna get an arrow in it.
I'm waiting for someone to be like, can I use my dulcimer as a shield? Yes, absolutely do it.
Your
It
DM
will
would
take 2 hits and then it'll break.
Yeah, this is gone. Just gone. And whatever, you get some gold pieces and, probably costuming or clothing or a cloak, something like that. But that's basically, I mean, like if I wanted to just end it there, boom, I'm done. I've got a character. I've got all the stuff that I need. And so all those, uh, wrapping it up really quick, the ability scores, that's gonna give you bonuses as well, just like your proficiencies. So, like Miranda was saying, I got a +2 to my strength, I got a +1 to my dexterity, and a +2 to my constitution. All these things really help you when you're rolling the dice, either in a fight or just kind of in story mode. So that's something to think about, especially if you wanna play the game. If you wanna tell a story, you don't necessarily have to worry about that stuff super a lot, but if you're really playing the game and you're rolling and you want to succeed, those are things that are definitely gonna come into play. Because I've played characters before with crappy ability scores, uh, and it's very hard to play the game and not just die all the time. So that's something to bear in mind. And then,
Yes.
yeah, if you wanna build a wizard or if you wanna build a sorcerer, things like that, you got spell slots to deal with, and you have picking your spells and a spell book and everything, but we can get into that later or at some point or whatever. But next time, you're or whenever.
I love it.
No,
Whatever.
whatever. But next time, Miranda's gonna build a character from 2, right? Is it version 2?
Yeah, it's the advanced second
Ooh,
edition. But
the
yes.
advanced 2nd edition. So that's what she's
Yeah.
gonna do. She's gonna build that. So tune in next Tuesday and watch that. If you wanna miss us, you can probably subscribe to us on whatever you're watching or listening to us right now. You can also like us, and you can just tell people that you know about us, and that'll get other people to like us, and then we can keep doing this with that in mind so that, we can just rock and roll.
Because
But
quite
anyway.
frankly, we'll probably still do this.
We'll probably still do it. But just, if people like us, we'll feel better about doing it.
Yeah. We'll feel like we're actually liked.
Yeah.
And that people enjoy watching my ADHD spiral and hyper, focus on things. And Colin is very good. Yep, that's right.
Oh, it's a big one.
Oh, too far. Here's it. I asked the wrong question that time. Anyway.
I'm a voice actor and a writer. You can find me at colincarleton.com or all over the internet at Colin Carleton VO. And Miranda, your stuff.
And I'm a writer with the question mark. And you can find me all over the place as Obscure Abrasion. I'm kicking around on Threads now, which is amazing. And I am starting to do artwork again. So.
Yeah, there's no question mark about that writer thing.
It's almost
you
there.
Lie.
It's getting there.
Okay. Join us next week on another great adventure of Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, good night, everybody.